Hey, what's going on? I'm Corbellic and welcome to Corbellic Art Studio. Today I'm going to talk about how I was able to sell 17,000 original paintings. No reproductions, no prints, no factories where you have to do any kind of drop shipping where you're using AI to do printouts or anything like that. I was able to do it using physical products all by hand. But this is the thing, you can do it too. And you can do it using eBay. eBay. I know it sounds crazy to some people. They're like, man, that doesn't even make sense. It's usually resellers, people who have to go out there and source product, but all the buyers are already there. eBay is spending so much money so that they can have a hot lead marketplace. Not a warm lead, but a hot lead marketplace. You don't have to put no money up front. You don't have to create some email list. You don't have to create a funnel. You don't have to create a web page with some long script on there with novels or anything like that. And I'm going to show you how I was able to do it and where I came from for the mindset for me to get into this business so that I could do it just on eBay and start making the money as soon as possible. Not 6 months from now, not 3 months from now when you trying to figure things out and when you're starting from zero. You don't have to start from zero. Basically, eBay is going to front you to start doing business with them. So, and I'm going to tell you all the advantages of how you can get started from zero, but making money as soon as next week if you want to. If you already have a projector, then you are already in the lead because that's what I use. That's what most of the professionals use, but they just don't want to talk about it because their ego would get involved. Leonardo da Vinci, he used a projector and it was called I think it was called the Procure or something like that, but you can look it up. All the masters, most of the masters, they use some type of optical illusion, mirror, something so they can have the right dimensions. Why waste more time into doing dimensions and freehand and hand-eye coordination? I can't teach you that type of stuff. This is not going to be an art class. Anybody can do this. That's another thing that's going to be important is that I'm going to show you that anybody can do what I did. If I was able to sell 17,000 paintings and you could just see in my store, that is the real testimony. You can see from the feedback, from the reviews, and anybody can do it. You can easily do it. You're smarter than I am. I know you're a fantastic person. I know you're a hustler. You're ready to break loose, either make some extra money for the holidays, either make some extra money if you're not even doing nothing, if you're retired, if you're a high school student who's maybe it's the senior year, or if you're a college student and you're just looking for an additional grind while you're in school, if you're just burnt out from your job and that you want some type of different hustle, I got all the steps. You can just click the link below and then it's going to show you step by step how to do it. But I'm here to break it down for you how I was able to get into this flow because it sounds crazy. But all right, so what made me get into eBay was I was doing gallery art for like 3 years, the golden time of doing art when everything was popping, everything was at its height from 2017 to 2020, early 2020. We talking about before COVID hit, right? And I was doing a whole bunch of art. I was doing a projector. I was doing larger pieces though. So I was doing mostly these gallery larger pieces that would take me hours to do. If not hours, then it would definitely take me, days, maybe even some pieces it took me like a week to do, just because I was putting that much detail into the work. And really deep down inside, I was just only trying to impress other artists. I was trying to impress the algorithm on Instagram. So really I was becoming a free employee for Mark Zuckerberg. And the way how I broke out of that mindset is after doing so many paintings and looking around and I had paintings stacked up, it was becoming like I was a storage facility instead of like an artist. Here I'm just making these paintings, but I was also doing video time lapses of me creating these paintings. Here, look, you can just see, look at this time lapse right there. And right there. And right there. Boom. So that's just a glimpse of, some of the gallery work that I was doing before I got into eBay. But what drove me is I was also working full time at this moment. And during that time, I was basically like a freelance. In my mind, I was a loser because I had 79 temp jobs. I had 79 jobs by this time. I had so many jobs, I couldn't get a permanent job. And I was trying to blame everything but either how my work schedule was or how my mindset was. I guess I didn't want to be tied into the whole corporate system of being somebody's employee instead of my employee. So it just makes sense now how I was able to be in that mindset. In my mind, I'm ashamed to even say during that time that I had so many jobs, because it felt like everybody was doing better than me because they had a full-time permanent position. Instead, here I am, I'm going from temp job to temp job, and the temp jobs, they would last for maybe like 5-6 months at the latest, and then here I am back into the job market. I'm looking for another job, right? I'm looking for something else to supplement my income. But it's just getting to a point where it's like, damn, I'm getting older and I'm not doing anything really where it's fulfilling for my life, and I'm not bringing anything real in. So then I started doing art hardcore. That's when I was doing the gallery art. But at the same time, here I'm popular on Instagram, and I think at the time when I was peaking, I had 8,000 followers on Instagram, right? And these aren't even paid followers. These aren't robots. These are all organic, because I was like one of the first to really do time lapse art videos where I'm showing the process of how I'm doing these larger gallery paintings. Now, here's the thing though, I'm getting all these free likes, but I'm not getting any money that's coming in. So then it's getting frustrating to me. Where in my mind, am I a good enough artist? How come galleries aren't really hitting me up? What's going on? So then I'm getting lost in my mind as well, where I'm like, all right, well, the sales conversion rate is less than 2% or so. So I'm bringing in all this traffic to Instagram, and I'm bringing in what, maybe like 1,000 likes, right? 1,000 likes. But then the sales conversion is less than 1-2%, because not too many people was hitting me up on the DMs to say, hey, I actually want to buy it. People on Instagram, they want to be entertained and they want to click free likes, but they don't actually want to check out with you. You could put even a website there. You could put some kind of funnel right there, and you're not going to get that many checkouts. I even remember I tried to go with a different business strategy, and this was in my later gallery days, where I was doing like, okay, here from my direct website, you can buy the art at a discount. I'm talking about, I was doing smaller paintings, and I think I was trying to sell them for $50 to $100 straight up. I forget. But that didn't even work. Then I was like, okay, here I'm going to have gallery version prints where they were printed on metal that couldn't be varnished or anything like that. And that didn't work. And I'm like, dang, what's going on with the conversion rate? I'm thinking that people don't have any money. But in actuality, it was just that the market isn't hot there. The market there, they either want to look at certain pictures or they want to look at free likes, and they like it. I'm not going to say that the people there, they don't like or they don't appreciate what you're doing, but they're just not a hot customer. That brings us to eBay. eBay, we already have 183 million. No, eBay already has 183 million buyers that they've already spent $2.7 billion on just last year. Last year, between June of last year and June of this year, they spent $2.7 billion just on marketing. So we're talking about Super Bowl ads. We're talking about football games, basketball games. We're talking about some of the hottest times in prime on TV that they are already spending for the market. Not so they could get cold leads, not so they can even get warm leads, so they can get hot leads. So you're talking 183 million people on eBay that already has their credit cards or their bank cards or their bank statements or some type of form of payment through PayPal or Venmo that's already linked to the system, and they're ready to buy. They're already looking, so they already have the algorithm on the SEO that they're looking to buy art right now. Now, every other coach, what they're going to tell you, especially if you're looking at some type of art coach, or if you're looking at somebody who says that they're going to help your business, what they're teaching you to do is so outdated. And what do they always say? Those who teach can't. The reason I'm able to tell you this is because I spent close to $100,000 on ads. And how they're going to tell you to do is build up your email list. That's one red flag. Build up your email list in 2025. What is that going to do? That's going to take 6 months to a year to build up your email list. But they're going to say, in order to build up your email list, you have to get on Instagram, and you have to work it like a business. I mean, you don't want to even do all that. So this program, what I'm telling you to do, this isn't even for people who want to be an artist per se. Maybe you just want to make some money. You don't have to be an artist to do this. Anybody can do this. But they're going to say, make so many commercials, then have a live feed where you got to have 3 different videos a day, and then you got to have an update, and then you got to work it every single day. Then you get an email list. Even if you do get an email list, who uses email anymore? In 2025, when you think of email, email is so outdated. I'm not going to bother people with an email list because I know what I think about when I think about an email list in 2025, right? What do you think of? You think of spam, newsletters that you don't want to read. You think about bills that are coming through. You think about maybe you got some kind of collections. Maybe you got somebody who even wants something like a car dealership. You think about all the unnecessary and things that you don't want to even look at. Emails nowadays is the new post office. Things that you don't want to see that comes through your post office or through your mailbox, it goes through your email, and you're like, what is it? It's like we wish that we could kind of cancel it, but we're in this phase where we can't cancel it. I mean, what else is going to come through your email? Something that they're talking about that's on auto pay, a subscription. Oh, this came out of your account for some type of payment thing that you're on with Google or whatever. That's what we think of when we think about email. We're not thinking about, oh, I can't wait to get this email that's going to help me in my life. You never think about that or any of that. I mean, they even had a study where it's now in 2025 that there's only 15% to 20% open rate for emails. So here you have a whole market of 80% that don't care. And then the ones who do open it up within that 15 to 20%, like I said, they're only opening it up because we've been conditioned to look for the auto pay in the bills or whatever. So that's another route where they're trying to set you up on. The other route that they're going to try to set you up on, no matter what business you're talking about, or they don't even know what business that it is that you're talking about. They can say, hey, sign up to my program where you need help and you might be starting from zero. You might not even have any kind of additional funds, or you might be broke. Pay me $1,000 or a couple $1,000. I'm going to help your business. I don't even know what your business is, but I'm going to be able to help your business somehow, even though I don't know what it is. Because one size fits all. No, that's not even how it works. Even if you're thinking logical, that's not how it works in business. You could come up and say that you got a pancake hot dog flipping business. I don't know. I'm just saying, for example, something radical, right? And then they're going to say, okay, what I'm going to do after you sign up to my program for a few $1,000s, that you're going to pay this ad on Meta, and you're going to set up this campaign where you're going to also pay thousands of dollars so you can run ads down people's throats for your hot dog pancake flipping business. And then after you do that, you're going to find out that the market don't even want your hot dog flipping pancake business. They don't want what you have. Your own family don't even want what you're offering. Nobody wants that hot dog flipping pancake business, no matter how many ads or funnels that you're running into it. And then you just feel like it's a waste of time. You feel frustrated. You're out of money already. And then what do? You're like, man, I'm jaded because all of these companies and all of these coaches, they're all scammers, or they're pyramid schemes, or they're gurus, right? I don't want you to fall into that. I'm giving it to you pretty simple of what the product is. It's selling art. Anybody can do it because you're going to be using the art projector. This is not going to be an art class because I cannot teach you how to paint. I cannot teach you how to do what I do. Now, I do have a breakdown in the art community program. If you tap the link below, you can get more descriptive details of how I go about the process when I use the projector. But I can't teach you how to paint because you could do it yourself. And then the thing is, when you're part of the community, your art, 90% of it is going to sell anyways, even more than that. You're going to get to a point where 100% of it sells because it's a snowball effect. But you have a community where people are going to be supporting your artwork. You have a community where people are going to be sharing them out to their networks. And then also they're going to be sharing it out where people are going to be putting likes on there. When they do that, that's when you're going to be getting the organic views, and then you're going to be getting more sales based off of that. Now, I'm not talking about breaking any policies or bidding anything on there where we're talking about doing any kind of shill bidding or nothing like that. That's not what we're promoting in this art community. What we're just talking about is people who genuinely like your artwork. You're part of a community and they're sharing your artwork on there. So it becomes a whole snowball effect where you're going to have a support system in there. You don't have to pay for so many leads, and you don't have to pay for so many programs that are going to go nowhere. And I'm not going to say they're not going to go nowhere. I don't want to sound so jaded myself after spending so much money. I'm just saying that one size fit all, how is that even possible? Most of the time, these companies, they're just saying, oh, I'm able to help any business. They don't even know anything about your business. Or a lot of times they're saying, hey, come up with a business idea and I'll be able to help it after we come up with it together. You don't even know what it is. You're just like, I want to make money. And I'm not here for that. I don't want to waste any of your time. The product is art. As long as you're using the projector, you can't go wrong, because I'll show you how we're going to just do the dimensions real quick. You're not going to do some pencil tracing and you're going to take 20 hours. Oh yeah, let me do this right. Let me do that. If you do stuff like that, it's just going to throw your mind off. You're going to feel frustrated. You're going to feel like you can't do it. You're going to feel like, what's the point? With how I'm showing is that you could paint within 5 to 10 canvases in 1 hour. That's easy work. And I mean, I even show so many of my demos and the time lapses of how I do it in the studio, because that's how I show up to work. I paint within 7 to 10 canvases in 1 hour. And I'm able to put myself on a time block in order for me to do it. My time block, how I work, because I have a focus problem. I have like ADHD or something. It's hard for me to like focus or think about working in a large gap of time. So what I use is I use 90-minute blocks. That helps me focus in. So that's something that I also talk about in the art community. Links below. You want to get all the details about how to set up your account, how to work in these blocks of time so you can have the most productive time within creating art. If this sounds like something that you could be into, if this sounds like something you're interested in and something that you want to learn, shoot me a message below. Click the link, just check it out. I don't have these long funnel pages and these long novels, and I'm not going to ask you a whole survey before you can get into the program about who you are and your birthday, your sign to the stars. I'm not going to ask you all of that type of stuff and waste your time, and I'm not going to bother you with those emails. Check it out. If you're into it, cool. If not, then I'm just going to see you on the next video where you can soak up some other information that I'm going to provide for you. All right, peace.